Hello, subscribers, followers, and friends of Saladmaster Perth. My name is Cheryl Aniyahan, and for this whole month of August, I have a special treat for you as I will be sharing with you our journey of coming here to Australia. We migrated here 12 years ago in August of 2009 during the world's financial crisis, and it was not that easy because we didn't have much money, we didn't have any relatives at all, and we didn't have a job. But I believe we've done well, and so I just want to share the journey and the story behind it, hoping to inspire people who are in the same position as we were 12 years ago, wanting to have a better life for their family in a brand new place. I just want to give them hope and courage. So I hope you enjoy this 4-week episode for the month of August. Let me start with my educational background. I graduated with Bachelor of Science in Accountancy in the University of Santo Tomas in the Philippines. And after that, I took the board exam and successfully passed. And very lucky, my friends and I, we were able to land into a position in the auditing firm. It's called Punong Bayan and Arroyo in Makati City as an external auditor. And I stayed there for 1 year. I didn't really like it that much. I can feel it was not for me. And so after getting married at the age of 23, my husband and I, we moved to the province, in the province of Batangas in the Philippines. Again, another blessing. There was a vacancy in the municipal government of Lobo, Batangas for the position of municipal accountant. It's kind of head of the accounting department. Luckily, during that time, the position's requirement is you need to be a board passer. You need to pass the board exam, the CPA board exam. And so during that time, there was no one in that town, in the municipality who has that qualification. And so even though I'm very young, I didn't have the experience in the local government, I got accepted. And my boss is the mayor. I'm a department head, and I'm heading a team of 5 people during that time. And then it went up to 7 people. And the funny thing is, I am leading a team of people who are older than me. Most of them are older than me. It was a good job. Money-wise, it gave us a good income. My husband, in the meantime, is working in our farm. We have a mini farm. We have a piggery farm, raising pigs. And we stayed in the province for 7 years. But what happened was, after about 5 years of working in the government, I felt like I needed to have more. When did I make the decision to go to Australia? During that time, there was no Facebook. It's only Friendster. And I can see pictures of my classmates overseas. And I can see them posting a picture. And just looking at the picture, I know it's a different country. And I began to dream. I want to bring my kids in that park where there's green grass, clean environment. And most importantly, I began to dream of being in a place where there's more benefits from the government. It's mostly for the future of my children. Because my kids are still small, ages during that time, 3 and 4 years old when we migrated to Australia, I was already thinking of, we are okay financially during that time, but then if time comes that they will be needing expensive shoes because they're playing basketball, or gadgets, I might not be able to support, or they're going to uni and spending a lot of money, I might not be able to sustain. And also, it's a blessing that in that year, 2007, my co-workers, they were also looking for an opportunity to work abroad, like in the Middle East or in Korea. So they've been going to my office and they've been showing me like business cards of different agencies that they're applying to. And during that time, that was the year when the internet was installed in the municipality, because when I started, it was all manual. no internet. So it's very hard. But then during that time with the internet, of course, we can Google, we can send email. And so I actually grabbed that business card of an agency called Respal, which has an office in Makati, and also there's an office in Australia. And I don't know why, when I went home, as I was watching the news, during that year, there was a news about the top 10 countries where the citizens are happy with their benefits that they're getting from the government. So, and the number one during that time was Australia. My focus went to going to Australia. I emailed Respal, the migration agent. They are far away, about 3-4 hours away from the province. They are in Manila. I emailed them. I said, I'm interested. This was January of 2007. I said, I want to apply, and what are the chances? Those were my questions. What are the chances of me getting a visa? I submitted my qualification. I was applying for a migrant's visa because there's a shortage, I believe, in Australia. And so I want to know the requirements. I want to know how much I'm going to be spending, and also the documents that I need to submit. And so they replied right away. They said to give them and transfer like 500 pesos during that time, and they will send me the documents that I need and the information that I need. During that time, they told me that I need to have 60,000 pesos to apply for kind of accreditation to CPA Australia. They'll send my documents, my syllabus, my transcript, and to see if my education in the Philippines is comparable in Australia. And if I got that accreditation or certification, then they will allow me to apply for the immigrants visa. And so that was the first step. And after that, 60,000 pesos again to apply for the visa proper. And that's not including all the things that I have to spend, like medicals. So I was so shocked during that time. I think my mindset was, where am I going to get the money, that much money? And of course, the visa application itself is around, during that time, around 90,000 pesos, around $3,000. And so I was computing, I might be spending around 300 to 400,000 pesos for the visa. And so I parked that idea for the next 2 months. But then in March, it went back to me again. And I said to myself, they said that the money, you don't need to pay right away. It's like a staggered payment as the visa progress. As the application progress, then that's when you pay money. And so I said, maybe it's not bad to try. What I did was to start the application, but smartly. I submitted my syllabus and my transcript myself to CPA Australia. So I went to their website, I looked at the requirements, and I went to my university to get the syllabus and the transcript. Actually, I asked my mother's help to get those things, have it certified, and then I was able to submit it. That saved me that professional fee. I only need to pay a certain amount for that accreditation. After getting that document, that's when I went to Respal in Makati. And that's when I said to them, now you can start my application. I want to start my application in going to Australia. In the meantime, of course, I told this to my husband, and he has always been so supportive of my plans, of what I wanted to do. Initially, our thinking was, when I got the visa, I'll go first, I'll find a job, I'll find a house, and then once I am fully settled, that's when I'm going to get them. And for the meantime, I've been looking for people, relatives who lives in Australia that hopefully can help me when I go here. But then, I don't know why, but during that time, I did not find anyone, any relative. And so I was thinking, I made this goal for myself that, okay, since I cannot find anyone, then I'll be the first one. I'll make sure that I'll come here so that I'll be the first one who will start this journey of having a relative to be helping someone to go to Australia. With the IELTS exam, because the agency so far, they're offering actually a free review for the English test, but it's so far away. And so what I did was I bought a CD, a review CD of the English test, and also Googled a lot of materials, and I actually just taught myself how to pass the IELTS exam. And luckily I did pass and did the medical exam and also submitted that completely. So the only last thing is to submit the money for the visa application, and around 80 to 90,000 pesos during that time for the entire family. And so what I did was, because I needed the money urgently, I actually had a loan. In the Philippines, there are people who can easily give you loan, but then they'll give you high interest. And I just went on. I needed the money. I really want to go to Australia. When it's about time to give the money to Respal, I remember it was a Saturday. I loaned to this person in the province 50,000 pesos. What I needed was around 80,000 to 90,000 pesos. So I got 50,000 already. And then I got a relative who loaned me 30,000. But then this 50,000 is the problem. It's a check. And it's a Saturday. So I cannot convert it into cash. So I remember calling different people and friends, promising them that by Monday, this 50,000 will be in cash. And so I can pay them. But for this Saturday, can I just borrow money? And if you want something to happen, you'll do everything and anything that's possible to get what you want. And that's what I did. I remember going to that office of the agency, and Trini, the person who's managing my accounts, is the only one there. And she met me because I'll be giving the money. The money I gave her includes coins. So I was counting individually with coins, imagine, because I was collecting a lot from different people, but I was able to get that money on the same day. But it was just, some are coins, it's so hard to count. And I remember I was telling the agency, this Trini, I'm apologizing because I didn't have the money and I have to ask a lot of people. That's why it's like so many. I remember she told me, don't worry, you might not be rich now, but time will come you will be. I remember that. And so my visa application was submitted to Australia. I got an email, an acknowledgement from the immigration, so I'm happy. All I need to do is wait. In the meantime, of course, the excitement is there. Every time someone talked to me back in the province, in the Philippines where I was working, I will be telling them all my plans, the excitement of going to Australia. But then the world financial crisis happened. And when it happened, it slows down the application, the processing of the application so much that 1 year have passed and still there was no getting near to processing my application, because I can see the dates. Every week I'm sending the immigration an email, automated email. They will reply of what date the application that they are processing during that time. I've been patiently every single week. I'll be sending an email to them following up of the application, and they'll send an auto reply of the date, and it was not moving. So for example, my visa, I believe, was submitted around June, end of June. They're still in March and it's not moving. So it was very, very slow. I'm starting to lose hope. I remember I stopped talking to anyone about going to Australia because I can feel that they don't believe me anymore. I can feel that. When I talk, I felt like they're feeling that maybe my agency is fake or it's not really happening. And I can feel that, so I stopped talking about it. For the meantime, just to save my reputation, I was thinking, oh, if Australia is not pushing through, then I'll probably go to Middle East. So I started to look for accounting jobs in the Middle East just to go away, just to save that reputation that I'll be going away. And so I've applied to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar. There's so many applications, vacancies available. And I remember in the internet, work abroad. There's so many. But no one ever called me. Maybe it's about destiny. I'm really destined to go to Australia, I think. And so months passed by. So 1 year, 3 months, 1 year, 5 months, and nearly 2 years. Imagine, nearly 2 years of waiting. And people will be following up. Some of our relatives will be following up on me. How's your application to Australia? There was a point I was thinking maybe the agency is fake. But every time I search, because there's a migration agents registry in Australia, so you can check if the agency is legitimate. Every time I check, they're still in there. So I know in my heart that they're real and the application is real. It's just that the world financial crisis happened. And then here comes nearly the 2nd year anniversary of our application. Around June, we receive an email from the immigration saying that they will grant our visa if we can leave in 1 month. So I believe I received that email around July 6, actually July 6. And they're asking us, they said they will grant the visa on the condition that we will go to Australia and we should land in Australia by August 20. So take note, I applied around July 2007 and I received their letter around July 6, 2009. So 2 years later, just when I'm about to lose hope. And they said that qualification, and also they said furthermore, if you don't intend to leave right away, you can leave the following year, 2010 January, but you have to repeat the medicals because it's nearly expiring, because we had it done about over a year ago. When you repeat the medicals, there's risk. What if the medical is not good? And of course, we have to spend more money. And I've been waiting for 2 years already. Imagine, you've been waiting for something for 2 years. And now it's telling me that they will approve it if we decide to leave in 1 month. And I'll tell you, the mindset during that time was, I'll do whatever. I talked to the HR. I said, I'll be filing my resignation. I initially answered right away. I answered the agency, said, you tell the Australian government that I am going, and my family and I, and that the requirement is all of us. You cannot leave anyone in the family because the application is all of us. And so I made that decision, Sometimes you plan your life. This is the thing. You plan your life and you thought it, and you plan it the way you want it. But sometimes someone up there is planning a better one for you. All you need to do is to submit. So initially, remember, I said I was planning that it's me first going here because we don't have job, we don't have relatives. So how can you establish a new life? And if I will bring my children right away, that will be too risky, right? I don't know. I just wanted that visa so badly that whatever it takes. And I just learned to just accept the fate that I have to bring my children. I just have to organize everything. The other problem that we need to take care, is the amount of money that we will be bringing to Australia. In the middle of the application, in the middle of the 2 years, I got a letter from the agency saying that if I want to facilitate the application, the Immigration of Australia introduced a prioritization. They said that if I want my visa to be quicker, the granting to be quicker, I need to apply a sponsorship in a state sponsorship. And during that time, remember I said in the beginning, I was planning to go to Sydney and Melbourne. That's the only places I know in Australia. My classmates are there, so I was thinking they'll help me. And they're all accountants, so they're my classmates in the university, so I know it will be easier for me to find a job. But then they said that Sydney and Melbourne are too crowded. There's so many applicants in there and there's slim chance for me to get the grant. And so the agency advised that it will be easier if I apply in Western Australia or South Australia. So Adelaide and Perth, in which I haven't really heard of those places. I didn't know that it was existing. And so I remember Googling Perth. That's why I'm here right now. Look at that. That's the Perth city. I decided to take this video here because this was once a dream. This is what I can see in the Google, in the website of Perth. When I start to tell it to my friends that are co-workers, colleagues, that we will be leaving for Australia and the government required us to go, all of us, when I told that to family and friends, they begin to worry about us. Say, how can you start a life there? It's gonna be very hard. You don't know anyone. You don't have much money. I remember someone saying, Cheryl, you need to have at least 1 million to survive in 1 month. And I was just thinking, if I will wait to save 1 million pesos to go to Australia, then probably it might not be happening, or it will happen maybe in 10 years' time. Well, of course, I did some research about the government grants to immigrants. The thing is, if you come here as an immigrant, you have to look yourself for your job. But because there's a shortage, you have a lot of chances of landing in a job of your profession. And so that is like giving me a lot of confidence. But also, the government here, when you arrive, and of course, when you arrive, you are low income because you don't have a job, they will give you a government allowance which will help us a lot. And so in preparation for our leaving to Australia, we sold all our pigs. We collected, I remember, around 200,000 pesos. That will be our pocket money. And then I asked the help of my father for the plane tickets. I think it cost us 100,000 pesos during that time. One way going to Perth. And another auntie relative gave us a pocket money of 15,000 pesos. And so what I did was as well to sell all the furnitures in our house. We intend not to borrow money from relatives, only to my father for the plane tickets, because I was thinking, let's just ask help when we are there and we needed help. But for now, I just want to use what we have, and let's see when we go there. I said I am ready to do any job. I have prepared myself mentally, emotionally, and physically that I might not be able to find job right away based on my profession, and so I'm happy to do laundry or gardening of my neighbor, of anyone, just to earn money. I prepared myself for that. In the meantime, my husband, when I told him that we will leave in 1 month, of course he was shocked because initially our plans was just for me to go first. But then he was, I told you, he's a very supportive husband, and so he just said yes. He just supported me in everything that I wanted to do. And I thank him for that. It has been a dream, and I just want a better life, a better environment, better benefits and hopefully a better future for me and my family. And the main reason, I was thinking, Philippines will not leave. If we want to go back, we can always go back. But I want to give my kids options. Because if we will not leave, we don't know if in the future we will be qualified if we waited. But since the opportunity is already here, for me, it's the opportunity of giving my kids the choice to stay where they want to stay. If they want to stay in Australia, or if they want to go back to Philippines when they grow older, at least there's options. Because some people, they didn't have that. And the day that our visa was granted, after we said to the agency that it's okay, we can leave in 1 month, we can organize everything, and we will definitely land in Australia before August 20 or August 19, the visa was granted. And that was like a dream come true. I was just the happiest person when I received that email that our visa was granted. It's a independent, skilled migrant visa and state-sponsored by Perth, Western Australia. The only reason why I'm doing this video is to pay forward. It's like we're so blessed, 12 years in Australia, and I believe maybe there's 1 or 2 people listening in this video and they might get some inspiration from this. There might be someone listening there who's in the same position as I was 12 years ago. Actually 14 years ago, because we've been here for 12 years and the visa application took 2 years. So 14 years altogether. 14 years back, I was just dreaming of coming to a place like this. Very clean, green grass, and that building, those buildings over there, those were just pictures in the website of Perth. Better benefits. This was all just a dream 14 years ago. But that dream, I took action. I did everything possible to achieve that dream. And now, 12 years later, with everything that happened, with everything that we have here, I just feel so blessed that I felt the need to share the journey in detail, hoping that it can inspire people who are listening to this video. And I think my message to everyone who's also dreaming to come to Australia or in another country, you don't need to have the money or the entire requirement to get to where you want to be. Sometimes that's what's limiting people from dreaming, what they have. The first thing that you have to consider when you want to reach your goal is to know exactly what you want to achieve. And knowing where you want to go and what you want to do and why you want to do it. If you identify that and make it clear to your mind, visualize it. As I said to you, when I saw the green grass, I imagined my kids running around in this kind of park. And I can visualize it perfectly in my mind. I can visualize the feeling of my husband driving his own car. I will be driving my own car. So for me, based on my experience, the secret in achieving your goals or want in life is to make it specific. Learn how to define what you want to achieve really in your life. And that should be coming from your heart, regardless of what you have, regardless of money. You don't need to think of money, because I was able to come here just by finding out ways, loans from different people. So you don't need to have so much to dream so much. You just have to identify what you want in your life, be clear exactly of what you want to achieve, visualize it, have the feeling of achieving it already. Because that's how you will know if you really like it. If you can visualize, If you really want something, you can visualize having it already. And if you can do that, you will have an emotional connection to your goal or to your want. And soon enough, you will receive it. And of course, you have to do anything possible if you really want to achieve your goal. You don't wait for things to happen. You make things happen in your life. This is episode 1 of our Dreams Do Come True episode. This is for the whole month of August, and this is in line with our celebration of our 12-year anniversary of coming here in Australia. I hope you learned something, and I hope it can inspire people. Next week, I'll be showing you and explaining to you and giving you some information of what happened to us after we arrived here in Perth, Western Australia. Bye for now!